Hello and welcome to the second channel for Tales from the Trip. I'm your host, the Trip Keeper, and on today's video, we're going to be reading some crack stories, some crack cocaine stories. Yes, I want to see how this does, so maybe on the main channel, we might want to do it and read it like in my Trip Keeper voice. Well, this is the Trip Keeper channel, but my Trip Keeper voice is only used for my main channel. This first story is called On the Precipice of Addiction, Crack, by Cracker1234. So yeah, that's basically how I would read that if I was on the main channel, but we're not on the main channel right now. We're on the second channel. We got a Miller High Life. I mean, where else can you get this type of content from, man? Reading crack stories while fucking drinking Miller High Lifes. Hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah? Comment hell yeah in the comments below. There's a fly in here. What the fucking hell? Get the fuck off me. That's not like a normal fly. I'm glad it was that and not like a normal fly. I hate normal flies. Flies are gross. I cannot stand it. But anyways, so we got a couple stories here and we're gonna read them. So let's just start off, guys. Let's just start off. Hopefully there's no more fucking flies. This is the tale of the night, well actually 2 days, when I realized I had a crack problem and needed to quit. It still feels bizarre to say that I have a crack problem. How the hell did I get to this place? I'm a white professional 20-something. I started doing coke when I graduated college and fell in love with it quickly. Then one Saturday night about 2 months ago, I was doing what I usually do, sitting at home blowing through an 8-ball. I was already in the grips of a healthy coke habit. None of my usual party buds were around and I was horny as hell. I'm gay as it happens. So I went online to find a dude who was partying and wanted to fool around. I found a guy, went to his place, and started chopping up my lines when he whipped out a burnt-looking glass stem and a bag of rock. Uh-oh. I should have ran, but I was already high and my curiosity was piqued. Besides, I was getting a bit bored with sniffing coke and figured why not, something new. I screwed up the first few hits and didn't get much. Finally, he lit one for me. Wow, what a high. I was into it immediately. It's tough to describe, as close to a full-body rush as I've ever felt. I took a long blast and held it in, as much as my lungs could absorb. I didn't feel it instantly, but as I blew the smoke out the crack hit, I tingled all over, my heart raced. Waves of energy and euphoria rushed through my body. I lay back on his bed and couldn't move for a minute or two. It was unreal. It wasn't speedy the way coke is. I didn't get the urge to run around the block like when I sniff coke. I just totally felt energized and somehow relaxed in a weird way. And after about 5 minutes, I really, really wanted more. So yeah, with crack and cocaine and shit like that, it doesn't really get you at first, but then like once it starts to wear off and goes down, you're like, okay, need it more now, so please give me it now or else I'm gonna kill you. So yeah, crack can be a very big problem. Let's see here. Okay, where was I at? Crack, I soon discovered, had one big difference for me from coke. When I would binge on coke, I would always reach a point where it just didn't do anything for me. After 6, 7, 8 hours of partying, each new line just didn't get me high, and I would really feel like shit and stop. Crack was different. Each hit got me high. Only as the night goes on, the high lasts for less and less time each hit. But each hit holds the promise of a new high. That's what makes it so addicting. That, and somehow after smoking rock, I feel better the next day than when I sniff coke. No crap in my nose, no congestion. I don't feel great, but not as shitty as after a coke binge. So I left this dude's apartment with a number for his hookup. Soon I was smoking crack every weekend. I didn't stop using powder, but every time I blew a rail, my mind would instantly leap to pipe and want to hit. I quickly started to smoke rock on weeknights, something I never did with coke because of the morning after effects. But I could smoke a gram on a Tuesday night, be on top of the world for a few hours, and go to work the next day without looking like I had the flu, excuse me. Awesome, right? So 2 weekends ago, I scored an 8-ball on Friday night as usual, scored some crack in the middle of the night, stopped partying around 6 a.m. Saturday, met up with my best party buddy around 4 on Saturday and started skiing again. Finished around 1 Sunday morning, woke up on Sunday feeling like total shit and thinking, man, oh man, have I got to quit doing this crap. But I had 320 bags left over. I couldn't resist, so I swore up and down, these are the last hits for a while, and I railed one of them and freebased the other. I pledged that was the last coke I would do for at least 2 weeks. Can you imagine 2 weeks being a lofty goal? Ha! I got high at about 3:30 p.m. Around 4, I get an email from a buddy. He was smoking some seriously good crack and wanted company. Shit, fuck. Put on my jacket, paced around my apartment. Should I go? Looked at my pipe, had one more hit in there, plus some powder left. Railed the line, took a hit, I was screwed. Pretty high, craving more, excited, energetic, feeling dangerous. I have to stop, but I can't fucking resist. Promise myself I'll go there, have a few hits, and be home by 10 at the latest. Out the door I go. Well, I'm assuming that this guy, that's not all he's going to be doing. So let's continue on with it. I get home at midnight, stoned out of my mind. We smoked I don't even know how much. We ordered more. I bought 3 rocks, baggies for myself. Took a giant hit when I left, and I run into my apartment to start hitting my rocks. Fuck, where did my night go? So I'm at home in the wee hours of a Monday morning, glued to my coffee table, hitting my pipe. I quickly finished off 1 rock in about 20 minutes and started in on the second. Now, I don't do crack, but that sounds like a lot. Finished that in an hour. It's almost 2 a.m. and realize I'm going to be out soon. Fuck, I call my dealer. No answer. I keep on smoking. I'm getting paranoid. I kept looking at the clock. So late, gotta work, but just one more hit. Just one more. Fuck. I realize I can't stop. I load up the last of my rocks for a big-ass hit a little after 3. I hit it and feel amazing, but I'm out. I panic for about 15 minutes, try unsuccessfully to jerk off. I sit on my couch depressed, wired, coming down, unable to sleep, unable to jack off, racked by guilt, racked by quilt? Quilt? Well, they said quilt, but I'm sure they meant guilt. Racked by guilt, craving more, but vowing to myself that this is the last time. It's not the last time. About 3:30, maybe 3:45, I'm crashing hard, trying to get to a place where I'm okay to sleep. To my gigantic astonishment, my cell phone rings. My dealer! Instantaneously, my heart races, my palms sweat, my mouth dries up like the Sahara. Do I answer? Do I score more? The decision takes about 3 seconds. Hey man, you got any? Yeah, I can go to your place, be there in 15. Fuck. I'm disappointed, guilty, excited all at once. I rush into the bedroom, throw on a sweatshirt, throw on my big hooded coat. It was fucking freezing out. Heart racing, I scrape the remaining off my mirror into a little line, inhale, check my pipe, scrape and push, I hit it. Fuck yeah. To my surprise, a pretty good hit. I run out the door, zip up my coat. Man, it was freezing. My heart pounding, palms sweating, my mind going a mile a minute, chain smoking, out of my head with a slight high and crazy anticipation and wild cravings. In a middle-class white 20-something walking through the ghetto at 4 in the morning, looking disheveled and out of place in a thugged-out parka, paranoia creeps in. Man, I look suspicious. I get to the dude's place, go upstairs. He looks pissed. Maybe he's high too. Probably. I can't tell and don't really care. I buy 2 rocks, ask if I can do a hit there. He has a seedy, nasty apartment, but I don't think twice. I sit on his couch, break half a rock, and load up my pipe. My hands are shaking. He is staring at me. I hit it. Giant hit. I lean back and deep into the couch, still inhaling until I can't take any more in, and I let it out slowly. With each breath escaping, I feel higher and higher, and something I never felt before. Overwhelming relief. I got my fix. I'm fucking flying. Leaning back on my dude's couch, sinking into the fur lining of my hood, feeling warm and electric. Oh boy, this is actually like a trip report. Like, this guy is going into these are the kind of reports I like to read because it actually goes into the mind of what they were thinking at the time. I managed to get back up and load the rest of the rock into my pipe without even thinking. My dealer goes, "Oh man, thought you was only doing 1 hit. I gotta sleep." I say, "Just 1 more, then I'm gone." No sooner do the words escape than I realize I only have 1 rock left. I reach into my pocket and get some cash. I buy another rock. I take my hit. I'm fucking flying. I'm shaking. Energy and euphoria are washing over me in waves. My dude looks at me and says, "Man, you got a serious problem." I just ignore him, thank him, and leave. I think to myself I got at least 5 or more good hits left in my pipe, so I walk down instead of taking the elevator. I stop halfway and have a blast. On the first floor I stop. I need a blast before the torturous walk home. Paranoia again. I could get caught, but I want it. Fuck. I flatten myself up against the wall, look around over and over and hit the pipe. Big hit. Nice. I walk out into the ice-cold night, chain smoking, high as a freaking kite. I start heading home. Walking home in about 10 minutes, maybe 15, I'm fiending again. Gotta get home and hit. Gotta get that next big fucking hit. I instinctively walk a block out of my way to a quieter, more industrial street. Nobody around. Can I take a hit here? Fear and excitement and paranoia wash over me and mix with the crack high. There is a deepish, unlit doorway. I duck into it, pressed up against the wall. I'm fucking terrified. I could totally get caught, but I want it bad. 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 I zip my coat all the way up. My hood is huge and it's inside out. When I look over my shoulder, I can't see past it. I feel like I'm going crazy. I think I should just go, but I reach in my pocket for a cigarette and feel the pipe. Fuck. Waves of cravings. I pull it out and hit it. Hit it again. Then I hit it one more time, and I turn to go. I did it. No cops. I'm a fucking badass and higher than I've ever been. It's amazing. It's thrilling. I'm strangely freezing as I light a cigarette, tug the fur of my hood around my ears, and think to myself, this is perfect. It's absurdly early on a Monday morning. I'm smoking insane amounts of crack and feeling amazing. Nobody is out. I've got the city to myself and I am untouchable. I can't get caught. I'm on top of the world. This is what I've always looked for. This is how I want to live the rest of my life. I think to myself, man, I'm totally hooked. I'm a total crackhead. How did I get this way? Thinking I'm addicted makes me aroused somehow. I'm living totally dangerously and all I want to do is get home and have my next hit. I get home, don't even bother to take my coat off. I break the second rock up and start hitting big. Giant hits. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. It's after 5 now and I'm feeling super paranoid and starting to feel sick. This has never happened before. My eyesight is blurry. I can't talk, can't think straight, heart pounding. I'm terrified that I have OD'd. I try to think how much I've done, but I can't remember. It only makes me feel sicker. I get a bucket from the kitchen and dry heave for 30 minutes. Then I pass out. I wake up in a few hours. Fuck, I have to go to work. What did I do? I'm in my living room, still wearing my jacket. Almost instinctively, I reach for another hit. Still got a rock left. I feel awesome again. I manage to shower, have another hit, go to work, get home, and finish off the rock. I managed to make it to bed at 1 on Tuesday morning. I called in sick on Tuesday. I must have slept for 13 or 14 hours. I have no idea how much I smoked or if I really did OD. Sure as hell felt like it. It was a crazy experience. I felt terrible for the rest of the week. I vowed to never smoke crack again. That was 2 weekends ago. I haven't smoked crack since. I did 1 gram of coke last weekend, but that was it. It's Sunday night and I've been clean off of any coke whatsoever this weekend for the first time in 3 months, but I'm craving it really, really bad. I'm horny and turned on writing this and thinking about it. I'm going to do some shots, jerk off, and go to bed. Hopefully, I'll get through the next month clean. Yeah, hopefully, dude. That was an insane story, guys. Let's see if he posted anything else. Nope, there's been nothing else. So, you know, the world will never know, I guess. The world will never fucking know. But that was an insane story, guys. What did you guys think about that one? I really liked how the crack dealer was even like, man, you got a problem. Shit. All right, let's go to the next story. This happened to me about 5 years ago when I lived in Florida. I was living with my aunt and uncle and cousins. I had moved there and got sober, got a job at a local restaurant. I was doing good until I started meeting people. My coworker introduced me to his weed dealer, and yes, guess what? His brother sold crack, and this wasn't just any hard stuff that got you really high for about 2 hours of energy, pure energy. Wasn't any hard, and this just wasn't any hard. This stuff got you really high for about 2 hours of energy, pure energy. Also, the pieces were huge every time. Sorry, there's like no punctuation there. So as I was working, I was trying to save for a car, but when you relapse full force, not that much money is being saved. My aunt let me use her second family car, and I pulled up to my dealer's house, and he asked me if I wanted to rent it out for 4 hours the following day. I figured I'll be at work anyway, so the next day he dropped me off at work, and that's the last time I saw him. Turns out my uncle saw him at the local gas station and called the police and said this guy stole my wife's car, and sure enough, he had a few cookies under his seat of that beautiful white Thunder. I came clean, and let's just say I don't live there anymore. Yeah, that'd be... They were asking if does anyone else have any rental stories about it, but yeah, no, that's... That guy gave up his car to a crack dealer. I would never let anyone use my car, let alone just a fucking crack dealer, but like, come on. Fucking... like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I would never lend my car to a crack dealer. The most I would lend my car to would probably be my friends, but even then, like, I wouldn't even want to do that. All right, let's just read this last story. I was going to read 4 stories, but this I don't feel like reading anymore as I'm getting tired a little bit. So, but I'm going to save this one for another time, maybe my main channel. So yeah, let's just exit out of that. All right, so this one is called "Help! My husband is trying to kill me." I've been using cocaine off and off for over 20 years. You would say I use it on a recreational basis. Then in 1988, I scored some coke for a friend of mine. When I laid out some lines, she said, "Oh, I don't whiff it, I smoke it." I told her that I'd never done that and I didn't want to. Time went on until one time I finally smoked it, and the time the mindset was weak. I was in a failing marriage, my job wasn't going well, and living with a verbally abusive husband. I smoked it. It was a big mistake. I smoked it for the next 3 years on a daily basis. I divorced and remarried. My second husband also smoked cocaine, but his drug was speed, so he would mix both drugs on a daily basis. Drugs was destroying this relationship, and I was very depressed, confused, and physically worn out. The psychosis didn't come on all at once. It was creeping in on me. For about a week before I lost it, I was in full paranoia, from thinking my husband was trying to kill me to a large part of the people of the world was part of it, including the police that arrested me. Don't ever call the police if you think your husband is trying to kill you. They arrested me. The first time I was arrested, they took me to a hospital, the mental ward for a 72-hour hold. The second time to jail. I had a warrant. For 3 days in jail, I was delusional, paranoid, heard voices for days straight, talked to the voices. I was totally out of reality. I remember a lot, and at the time, things that I thought seemed very true to me. Well, this is actually a very good story. If it was longer, like, it would definitely be a good main channel story for sure. Like crack psychosis, like I can just see that right now on there. After 3 days in jail, I was released. For the next week, I felt shaky, scared, weak, and slightly paranoid. I felt so scared that I had to get away from my husband, so I checked myself into a rehab. For the next 7 days in rehab, I looked over my shoulder out of fear that someone was going to hurt me. The last time I used any drugs was a few days before going to jail. I look back and I am lucky. I was stuck in a paranoia, delusional state of mind for a solid 3 days, then felt the after effects for weeks. I have been clean since that day I was arrested. I have 2.5 years of clean. So 2.5 years, that's good, but just the way they worded that shit, that was funny. I will never forget my days of psychosis. They seemed so real. Some days I asked myself were they real or not, but I'm the lucky one. I know that my mind thought that they were real. 2.5 years later, every now and then, I still look over my shoulder. I'm currently studying to be a drug and alcohol counselor, learning about psychosis. Thank you, CJ. So that was a female, if you guys didn't know, if you guys couldn't tell. Could have been a man, you know, with the husband, you never know. With like the first story, there's a gay man. But yeah, that was a female. So yeah, those were some crack stories that I thought were very interesting to read for you guys. I mean, the entertainment value in crack stories is definitely very high. But yeah, I hope you all just have a wonderful night. Stay safe out there, guys, and don't do crack ever. Please don't ever do crack.